Also, you're also raising awareness. You're creating like a conversation about that, and it's also affordable in case you can't do surgery. I don't know if surgery can be done in such certain
Of
scenarios,
course, yeah,
but
yeah.
like it's affordable if you can't do surgery. It's something you have at home, accessible. You can just order it. It'll be with you in 15 to 10, 20 business days. I mean, it was like,
I see you've been on our website.
yes, I have been.
Well,
I
you
have been.
forgot to mention it's battery free.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. I didn't even know. See, I didn't even read the full product. I
Yeah.
was sold from the second I saw it. The Nobody's Famous podcast. All right, and we are back, guys, on the Nobody's Famous podcast. We're back in the amazing Subsonic Studios. I got Bruno and Miral on the keys this time. It's an amazing, amazing experience we have today. And today I have a very interesting, very special, insane guest. The one and the only Emile Maamary.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt you were like, I have to be active for an hour and a half now.
I was like, I couldn't sleep last night.
And
I was thinking about this for so long.
really?
No?
Nice. Nice. Thanks for reeling me in there. I like it. Thanks. It's a great start to the show, guys. It's just perfect. You can see how I cannot handle the guest. Emile, before I jump into the first question, you had something to say about the Big Tasty?
أحب طعمة المكتيستي والله.
Okay, great. So, moving on.
Story. Where's the backstory?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
Check the bloopers. So, Emile, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, man.
It's so exciting to finally be able to do this. I'm gonna jump in, okay, with my
Back
first.
in the studio.
Yeah, as if you've been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna jump right in here. I've had the pleasure of sitting down with you a couple of times actually before this show. Since you've come back from Canada, and even knowing you from high school, you know, I never had the chance to properly get to know you. But something I did notice is that never once have I seen you unhappy. I've never once seen you unhappy. And I can't say the same about myself, tell you that for sure. But what is the secret sauce to this unending cliche of happiness?
Wow, man. Thank you so much, first of all. That's quite the compliment. You know what? First of all, I don't let things get to me. Like, I don't overthink things. Also, I was very blessed to be raised in a household that didn't require me to not be smiling. I was very fortunate in that circumstance. What else could I possibly say here?
I mean, in your face, you know, it just shows.
Else the muscles got used to it.
Yeah, it's like you don't have the upside down frown. It's not even. It doesn't even register. Even when you're sad, you're happy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very grateful to have this attribute. Yeah, I have to say it's a lot goes to like the upbringing. Really, it's my mom, my dad, my support system, my brother, my sister, everybody around me. They keep me smiling.
Yeah. No, honestly, like I've seen it all the time. As always, I've known you for so long. I've seen this, and it's an absolute truth.
Yeah.
And I mean, as corporate as you can be, you know, you sent me your bio. You started by saying you were well versed in managing financial, strategic, and operational risk to maximize enterprise value.
Yeah.
It's a pretty mouthful, actually.
I think
Rather-
that was LinkedIn.
Really? Just copy pasted? Wow. Thanks again, Emile. I love it. But you know, away from this like corporate speak, just tell me who you are really.
I like to play the connecting role. I like to add value wherever I'm present. Not enterprise value, but real intrinsic value. I find that I don't know how to really define myself. You never really stop growing. So I continue to grow. I continue to keep refining some of my more extreme attributes. Like, you need to know when to smile and when not to. Today we'll be smiling hour and a half. Reverting back to the question, I try to just maintain a cool composure. Who am I? It's a hard question to really respond to. I'm just gonna keep growing and keep pushing forward and on all fronts. And maybe at some point I can come back to you on that one.
So, Emile, you sent me a question. You sent me a question. You sent me a photo, actually.
Yeah.
From one of the questions I asked you is to send me a photo. And you sent me a photo of you on a yacht. No surprise, casual. And you
It
were
was a sailboat, actually.
sailboat?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry for my terminology.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not very well versed in the very forms of marine vehicles.
Yeah.
And you were smiling like a kid in a candy store. Honestly, it was amazing. Why did you send me that photo?
Because I was in my element. First of all, I live in Toronto, so I don't have too many opportunities to be at sea. So I really do appreciate every minute out by the water. Shout out to Sail and Magic, Ahmad Akir, for providing. The sailboat is beautiful. The experience was amazing. Surrounded by great friends. That day the day started off with a lot of fog and the radar wasn't working, so we could barely navigate ourselves. And alhamdulillah, it all worked out. And yeah, it was a great day overall.
I mean, you yourself, were you operating or is it
No, I wasn't. I was learning the ropes, no pun intended.
nice? Just because it seemed like it's something that you would do like regularly.
Yeah, whenever I get the opportunity to, yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy being out at sea.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list, like to purchase a boat and on my wish list. Yeah, but purchase a
Yeah.
boat and spend more time out in the water. The oceans are barely explored, so maybe one day, with some of these autonomous vehicles, we can go underwater and explore more.
Amazing. You
Yeah.
gotta call Elon Musk maybe
Yeah,
for that.
not today. Busy guy.
You would know. You would know, right? Regular fries or curly fries?
Oh man, definitely curly fries, spicy curly fries, Hardee's, no questions asked.
You heard it now, guys. It's Hardee's. This is a lot of sponsorship for you, buddy.
Bounce it out.
It's dead in the water, I tell you that. So, Emile, as you noticed, I didn't even introduce you yet
Yeah,
formally,
yeah,
and I'm gonna let you do that.
yeah. Thank you.
I want you to, maybe just give us a brief journey of your life
Mm,
and what got you to your work, actually, which we're gonna talk about in a bit.
so I'll skip the whole like born and raised and whatnot. You know that part. I went to school. I started university in AUB at the American University of Beirut. Shortly after, like maybe I think in my third year, I transferred. During my internship, I stayed in Toronto, and I continued my education over there at York University. Shortly after that, I joined Canada's first carpooling application. We launched that, took it to a couple of thousand users, and then Uber showed up, and I was like,
Casual, casual.
from there on, I was fortunate enough to meet my current co-founder and business partner, Mark, and we realized that we both have a lot of common interests in essential tremor, and we decided to try to seek a solution for that. Um, we went through quite a few different prototypes before we actually pulled the trigger and went to market, but I think I still have one of the first prototypes at home somewhere. We took that to market. We sold out of that. We're on the verge of launching our next pre-order campaign and launching the next product. So it's been quite exciting coming along the way. I have to say, starting a business in Canada is not very easy because we didn't grow up there. We don't have the same leverage, but the government really supports you with so many different resources. We were part of the University of Toronto's incubator. We were able to apply to so many different programs that supported us financially, subsidized our rent, subsidized our R&D every step of the way. Um, I even was fortunate enough to have the chance to meet with a lot of different patients through support groups. Something that I realized there is that you're able to actually connect with the end user a lot more effectively. So if you have essential tremor, for example, there are support group meetings you can attend. You're able to, be in a room with people that have similar issues like you. How do I brush my teeth? How do I eat properly?
Yeah,
With
just
my
even the
hands
basic
tremoring?
things.
Yeah, it's really the quality of life is impeded significantly. So we were we learned a lot from those secondary and primary market researches that we were able to conduct because the frameworks are set up there, because the ecosystem allows for it. It's definitely easier to build a product if you have the end user closer to you.
Yeah. And how I mean, already that's a lot, like crazy journey, and I bet it's a bit of a short time as well that you've been on this.
So we actually started the business in 2016. We launched the first product in 2019, and we delivered in 2020. We sold out in 2020. Yeah,
Wow.
we sold out. Yeah, it was really quick. We Of course, there was a lot of marketing push, like
Yeah.
a lot of different pushes on different fronts. As you can imagine, social media, SEO, all that digital marketing fun stuff. But also word of mouth worked a lot for us. We've been to a lot of conferences across the United States. Been on a couple of trade missions with the government promoting medical devices. Japan, Hong Kong. Yeah.
That leads me to my next question: is how did it feel like to pitch in the Forbes Under 30 conference? Like, what was that pressure like?
We had to do a lot of pitching practice everywhere we went. Like sometimes they tell us picture them naked. Sometimes they tell us, just imagine you're the only person in the room. Pitching specifically in Forbes was interesting because the audience was different. The audience was all younger. Usually we go to these conferences, a lot of older people, seasoned executives, a lot of heavy hitters in the room. You're pretty shy. You don't want to say the wrong thing. This was more chill, I would say, because everyone's the same age, and we had like a list of people we were going after, so like we had to identify them very quickly. It was because everyone was at the same age, it felt like it was more of a party, like there more than rather than a conference. So I specifically, like, one of the investors I was trying to go after, like I felt, like after she finished her speech, like she was giving like a quick workshop, and after she finished her workshop, we had all lined up to like go speak to her, and I felt like we had like a club, like trying to go speak to that like nice girl, like that hot girl, and be like, hey, take my attention,
I just
give me your attention.
I could
Sorry.
never like I'm because I'm not a good like networker in those types of situations. I guess so, and I just find it so like you have to really get in somebody's face and say, well, hi, this is me, this is what I do, give me some money.
Yeah, so there was actually a conference that specifically we had to practice that. It was called the Resi Conference in Toronto, and what they do is they give every attendee $500 of fake $100 bills, and your job is to go and collect those bills from each attendee. So I remember, I'll never forget that day. I didn't know about the competition until I arrived there, and I asked my CEO. I'm like, Markin, what are these for? And he's like, there's a competition. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah. He's like, we have to collect them all, and the winner of the person who collects or the company that collects the most dollars gets to go to the next 4 conferences for free. I was like, that's amazing
Oh wow,
exposure. Let's
perfect.
do it. Yeah, yeah. So I think by the end of the day, there were, like visible sweat patches. And we won. I was able to actually secure it. And I'll never forget it. One of the companies like next to us, they were much bigger of a team. They were like, you don't even have a chance. Like you guys are just 2 people. One of you's manning the booth. The other one is like,
Oh wow, it's just you two guys.
time, yeah, we were just 2, and I think it was 2018, 2017, and one of us is manning the booth, the other one's attending investor meetings. So you don't end the investor meeting and be like, hey, give me your money, like let me take those paper bills. So you have to like really maintain your composure in that room, and then you go outside and you're like, hey, can I pitch you again? So that was quite the experience. I feel like that was one of the most resonating experiences in terms of pitch practice, and really putting the guard down, and treating everyone else like they're just there to learn more about your company, not every other company. Yeah.
No, because I think this a lot of it has to do with your personality as well. There's something about you that people can the approachable side. I think this is something that which I think you're aware of. That
Yeah.
this is something
30
that
years in.
yeah, 30 years in.
29, 29.
Like from birth you knew?
No, 6 months in. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's from 6 months. I'm sorry. But this likeness can really get people to put their guard down, especially with investors and them having to to shell out money, and they're probably doing that for more than one company. It's not just the one, so they have to really choose.
But being approachable and then going around and asking for money, they're very different things. Like very, very different. Being approachable, okay, people are like, okay, this guy is chill, like has a he's a happy guy, that's fine. But then going and asking people for money, especially in our culture, it's not a very like common thing. It took me a while to get used to that. Like we both had like our poker faces on for a while. We're like, yeah, we're fine, we don't need any money, everything's fine. Tuna cans.
Cry in a corner.
Yeah. So it's over time you kind of normalize yourself to the fact that, hey, you know what, we need this money to grow the business. We need to keep pushing forward, and every dollar counts. So you have to change your attitude, or else you're not gonna grow, nor the business nor yourself.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I think I find that the hardest thing to do is to be able to change your attitude, because it's hard for me to do that. I was like at the Tokyo Game Show once in 2018, and I just found it so intimidating, especially that the culture was not the Japanese culture was new to me. It's just being in that setting was new to me, and I was just like, how do I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
I was so lucky when I went to Japan March 2020. I was there at the peak of their spike in numbers for the pandemic, and I was part of a trade mission for the Ontario government this time. And I was so lucky because I was staying with a friend, my friend Koki, and he showed me around. He lives there. He's Japanese. He walked me through every different scenario. Like, for example, the subway there is extensive, and the trips are very long, and some of it's above ground, some of it's underground.
Yeah, you have rail and you have the metro.
Yeah, and I took a phone call on the subway. Hello. I
never do that.
Of course, like, it was an important phone call. I wouldn't, it's rude. It's rude. But like, I had to answer the call to be like, yeah, we're on the way to the meeting, like under 30 seconds, no lies. I swear to you, somebody turned around, started pointing at me. I was like, yo, this is a lot. This is a lot. Yeah. So just one of the things I remember. A lot, like very, very different culture.
That's why you going on the trade shows and all that, you have to adjust to that.
Of course, yeah.
Well, Emile, I want to ask you, before I jump into Steadiwear and everything like that, I want to ask you, our lives are wildly different. Like, I can never compare, the kind of journey that you've been on.
I'm sure they're similar in very different ways.
Yeah, but I think like for you to go and do what you're doing, right? To take Essential Tremors and just make it something that is something that can be solved. I mean, that's a big thing.
Even if we don't solve it, if we can improve their quality of life by even something minuscule, like 30%, then we've done our job. I don't think we're solving essential tremor. I think, like, people that are working on surgical solutions that are, eliminating the problem, that's more of a solving the problem.
Yeah.
But I think we're supplementing the issue. We're able to actually improve their independence, their confidence. The majority of the members of our team have essential tremor in our families. So that's really why we started the business. We saw that the market was screaming out for new solutions, and we were able to come up with something very innovative and different. It's, first of all, the only solutions that are out there right now in that market were out there before we started working in that space were, pharmaceuticals, pills, severe side effects, crazy. They're actually like anticonvulsants made for people with seizures, so they're not designed specifically for tremors. And we saw the side effects when we went to the support group meetings. We saw what it was doing to people. We saw like how people were losing their confidence from the medication. It was just, we realized that there was room to fix, or not fix, to adapt
a new
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah, but you're also raising awareness. You're creating like a conversation about that, and it's also affordable in case you can't do surgery, or I don't know if surgery can be done in such certain
Of
scenarios.
course, yeah, yeah.
Like it's affordable if you can't do surgery. It's something you have at home, accessible. You can just order it. It'll be with you in 15 to 10, 20 business days. I mean, it was like,
I see you've been on our website.
yes, I have been.
Well, you
I've been-
forgot to mention it's battery free.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. I didn't even know. See, I didn't even read the full product. I was sold from the second I saw it. No, because you know what? I was going through the website, and there was something that I noticed. I saw. It actually brought a tear to my eye. I was seeing one of the
Testimonials.
testimonies, one of the videos
Yeah.
of one who had like extreme tremor, and that he couldn't even hold a glass
Yeah.
of water. He couldn't draw, and honestly, it's one of these things that we kind of take for granted when we're young. That we don't understand that we freely do things with our mind. We pick up a bottle of water, or we use our laptops, keyboards, phones. We do all these types of things, and we take it for granted. And then when you see the other side, it's this immediate like, oh my god, what if that happens to me, and all of that stuff. But what if we could even now begin to help and raise awareness about that conversation, which is what you're doing, is to even like be aware of this fact now. What can I do to change my life from now to be able to maybe prevent this, or to even help those who need my help?
With Essential Tremor, right now it's first of all it's Essential Tremor Awareness Month, so you can either donate to the cause through the International Essential Tremor Foundation. You can even try to build a support group in your local territory, wherever that may be. You could try to work with a neurologist to actually gather that group of people that suffer of different types of tremors, and try to compare what different aspects need improvement in their lives, and what other solutions are available in the market. That's something that we do actively. We try to go out to local support group meetings and try to understand what the problems are, try to address their issues, even if it's not with our product. Like if we're able to bring some form of comfort to their lives, then we'd be more than happy to. Sometimes you just need a sounding board. Sometimes they just want to speak to you. In other cultures, there aren't always these strong support groups, support systems, for example. You don't have in some cultures you have this type of senior care facility culture where they just throw the elderly into senior care, and sometimes they don't get the attention they need. And if you're able to even provide that can reduce their anxiety, and some studies say it can reduce your tremors.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's all, I think it's related to stress in a way.
Yeah, I'll conclude with the glass of wine. Every single support group meeting we've attended involved a glass of wine. And apparently alcohol significantly reduces your tremors.
Really?
Yeah.
The interesting point, because
You're relaxing your
you
nerves.
just wanna
Yeah,
you just wanna relax, and even if it's having it in a relaxed setting, it can probably have a better, even better effect. We talked a lot about Steadiwear.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and I wanna ask a couple of more questions. I wanna
course.
know, how was it like in the drawing board with you guys, you and Mark?
You mean like building the product?
Yeah, like how, just briefly, like just if we were like a fly on the wall.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely shout out Leonardo here, our industrial designer, complimented Mark's efforts on that significantly. We changed the product, I think, at least 8 times in terms of just design. And that's forget the components that were inside. Just designing the product was, there aren't too many gloves out there that stabilize hand tremors, and we were first to market, so we had to interview different stakeholders. Like we had to go and interview companies that build orthotics, gloves, because we needed to learn what was the right glove, what was the right material. And then we went and we had to go and try to learn more about how the different technologies that we were implementing would work together, and unfortunately, we didn't have direct access constantly to people with tremors. So what we did was a lot of it was on the fly. You know, like we tried to simulate a tremor ourselves, try to work on it if we can with some champion patients like John that you saw on our website. John was fantastic. He'd come in every few months and try a different rendering of the product, give us his feedback. Again, the support groups were very beneficial. You know, we'd drive out to different support groups across the province, not state, in Canada. And, you know, we were able to gather so much feedback from these amazing people that genuinely gave us feedback that was very, very, very healthy for our product.
That's great. I mean, you had access to someone who was willing to just from the ground floor just be there and just tell you feedback just from there. That's amazing.
Well, you know, as I mentioned earlier, there aren't a lot of solutions that are effective. You know, like before the gloves or the assistive devices came to market, and you know, we were the first battery-free glove, but we weren't the first assistive device. So can you imagine? You'd have to buy something that would work for, you know, like using your mouse, something to buy a product for the keyboard, a product to drink water, a product to use a pen. You know, you can see how these things are all fragmented and they accumulate, right? And if you want to take the medication, the side effects can be significant. You know, like it's not there's a really high rate of failure with the pharmacotherapies.
Well, now, since you've sold out the Steadiwear one.
Yeah, we're raising awareness for Steadi-Two right now.
Yeah, here we go. You're going to get it now.
Yeah. So the pre-order campaign starts in May. We'll be exclusively selling to North America for now, but we are onboarding constantly new distributors. We're signing MOUs, memorandums of understanding. LOIs would definitely help too, letters of intent. You know, to help us raise money, help us go back to the bank and be like, hey, listen, you know, this distributor is saying they want to buy product. We need money to build the product, hook it up, you know?
Yeah. So what can people expect now from the Steadiwear 2?
A much lighter version, more aesthetically pleasant, even better efficacy, hopefully, and last but not least, a cheaper price tag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep pushing for that, for all three of those design goals, and also what we implemented is. You know, buy now, pay later. So, for example, other than the 30-day money-back guarantee that we offer, free shipping, and we cover customs and stuff like that, what we also implemented is like a monthly payment plan option, because there are a lot of people that, even though the price tag is a little bit lower now, they still can't afford it. So we wanted to find a way to make it more attainable for the wider scope of people.
That's amazing, man. I mean, there's so much we can talk about this.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to keep talking about it.
I think what you're doing is amazing with that. You're tackling something that is not widely, I think, in the forefront. I mean, people know about it, and I don't think, like as you said, a lot of the essential tremor or you know, Parkinson's disease, all of these things, we just assume it's gonna happen. We don't try to do something to prevent it.
Yeah, you know, like it's definitely a feel-good product for us to be working on. You know, I think that there's a lot more that can be done in this market. You could tell from the research. Like, it's insane how uncharted the waters are, specifically in this space. And you know, essential tremor, it impacts around 3% of the world's population, and that's a pretty large percentage. When you go over the age of 60, it's 5% of the population. So yeah, it's definitely something that's not given enough attention because it's benign. People don't die from it. There aren't enough research projects. There aren't enough resources in the space. But I think that that's changing very quickly.
That's amazing, Emile. I'm glad that we touched on this.
And I'm happy to contribute to that change, and definitely something to look forward to with the Steadi-Two.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I wanna move away from a lot of corporate stuff.
Let's do it.
Put a different hat on now. I wanna go to the big tasty. Honestly, can you do some more? Because they're amazing. Why no? You can do them. They're amazing.
No, it's not my
like, no, please. Hey, please, no.
That's my place.
Honestly, it's amazing. You should. And you should do. Okay, so can you do another accent then? Can you do some other accents?
Um, I haven't like practiced any accents in a while. I they usually come out in a different mindset, but
Okay, fine, fine. So I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Funnily enough, I never knew that you were a big part of the music industry in Toronto as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you allowed to tell me a crazy story?
Oof, which one?
Big.
Yeah, no,
I have many.
I can
I
tell
am
you so
Lebanese.
many, man. I can tell you so many. Like I was involved in a project where we were throwing an event on an island outside of Toronto. So what would end up happening is we'd have to like first of all the logistics involved, picking up artists from the airport, checking them into the hotel,
Make it sound so easy.
and then bringing them to the island, right? So sometimes the artist gets excited, you get excited, and one of the artists forgets their laptop in the hotel room and shows up to the gig. That's something that's happened. Sometimes the driver forgets to pick up the artist. The stories can go on for days, man. It's a lot of fun working in that industry. I was fortunate enough to step into that industry during my time in university there. We started an electronic music club at the university.
Look at you, man.
Yeah,
Being Lebanese, even not in Lebanon.
yeah, from there we scaled it and started events. And then I was scooped up by the local event groups, and they're like, "Hey, listen, you want to work with us?" And eventually, that led to much more opportunity in different scopes, artist management. I was able to be a part of multiple shows on the road. I worked for Coachella at some point. I worked for the Detroit Music Festival movement. We worked on some events in Miami, Saint Martin, Barbados. The list goes on.
Nice. And what would you, what's some advice you would give for somebody who probably actually really likes the music industry or even events in general? What advice would you give them to be able to break into it? I mean, apart from networking.
Yeah, no, I would say first of all, like look for ways to reinvent your brand. It's a very competitive industry. Networking is the most important part of it, but hard work also pays off. Being in the studio helps a lot. Like making your own music. Keep trying to upskill yourself on the artist side. On the promoter side, it's a little different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of change that needs to occur there for you to actually stand out. But we'll see. I'm pretty sure COVID accelerated a lot of that change, just like it did in a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Emile, I have some off the cuff different type questions for you here, which is talking more about
Take
how
a shot.
your
Take a shot, man.
where you take. I wanna talk about your shift, actually, how you're rebranding yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
You're shifting to be able to. You want to support founders and entrepreneurs.
Definitely. Yeah. For
And
sure.
people can now book a 30-minute session with you on Calendly for free, by the way, and you can talk to people for 30 minutes about how you can support them if they're working on like a VC, like a startup, and how they can approach a VC or do something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can't say I have all the answers, but again, back to the sounding board component. I think people sometimes just need someone to speak to. When you're on this mission alone and you're working with a small team, you really don't have a lot of resources. You don't have a big team to go and be like, "Hey guys, I want to speak to you about this." Sometimes it's just a team alone. You're an individual player or an individual part of the team, and you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time, effort, or you don't have a lot of people to speak to, and I'd be more than happy to contribute to that. That started after the bombing in Beirut. I wanted to find a way to connect with the entrepreneurial community there. There were a lot of initiatives helping them move, relocate to other geographic locations, and try to at least support them in any way I can. And that's really where that started. And I found that it was beneficial to a lot of the people that were involved. They came back asking for more sessions, and I was very happy to hear that.
nice. And do you talk to people about your
Everything, business model, pivoting, marketing, connect them wherever they need. If I can connect them, it's if wherever if I can make their life easier, I would. And if it even if it's just emotional support, because I can relate to that. Like for example, there was a period of time when like the first product, the first prototype we built, it didn't work as well as we wanted it to, and that shatters you. You're like, oh my God, is this it? We're running out of funding. Oh my God, is this it? There's so many different things that can go wrong in early stage startups, especially pre-product and pre-revenue. When you don't have that support, you don't have that VC branding, or you don't have any like real backing.
You don't have proof if it works or not.
Proof of concept, all these things, they take time. And what you need to do is maintain perseverance. You need to be headstrong, and speaking to other people who have done this before helps. I know, because I spoke to my mentors that helped lead me to where I am today and where the company is today. Like, it's so important to speak more about your hurdles and about your trouble and your problems in general.
It's very selfless of you, Emile.
Thank you.
And
appreciate it, yeah.
I have said it on the show a couple of times. I hate seeing people in positions where they are helpless and they need to do something and they're not sure what they can do. And, as simple as it is starting a new job and someone sits there and they don't know what to do, I hate seeing that. And I genuinely have said it several times on the show. I hate seeing that somebody sits and is confused and not sure what they can do. And if you could just make their day better by sitting and chatting to them.
You clench up, man. You clench up. You succumb to the stress. Your mind just goes in a different direction, and you don't want that. Nobody wants that. So whatever you can do, meditate. If you don't have the ability to speak to anyone else, breath work, meditation, these things actually work. I'm a firm believer in that. And yeah, of course, if anyone would like to speak to me about any of their upcoming projects, I'm more than happy to contribute to that.
Tell me what's the darkest moment that you had faced in this journey? Because it's not all
we were waiting
bells and whistles.
We were waiting for money to come in. We had no idea when it was coming in. We couldn't pay payroll. We didn't have enough money to keep developing the product, and we were sitting there for like a good week, just twirling our thumbs. Like, what's next? Like, is this it? Are we done? Are we burning out? Are we hanging the hat? And surely enough, the money did come in. We were able to build one prototype, and it worked. But that 1 week was definitely the most, I don't want to say depressing, but it was the hardest week we had.
Did you sleep?
Encountered. Honestly, there were days where we didn't sleep, and it wasn't because, oh my God, I'm sitting behind the screen working all day. It was more like I'm scared to bring this forward. I don't know, what am I gonna, what do I?
I like how he says, "I'm scared," and he laughs. I'm scared. Nice.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely there were hard times. Yeah, there were definitely hard times. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to open the floor to have you debate a bit.
Sure.
So feel free to touch on a topic, and then we can debate it a bit before we go to our conclusion.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to bring something up, and this is something that gets lost a lot among definitions of entrepreneurship. So there's a lot to do with like innovation, and then there's a lot to do with entrepreneurship. And don't get me wrong, they're both uphill battles, and they're both very, very important contributions to society. But I feel like it gets lost a lot. There's a big difference between being just an entrepreneur and being an innovator. Being an innovator means you're inventing something new. You're I don't want to say reinventing the wheel, but you're bringing something new to light, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, rigorous effort. Of course, it has a much bigger reward, but I don't mean to demean or take away from entrepreneurship, but I'm very excited to see more innovation in this region rather than just entrepreneurship. Of course, this whole country was built on entrepreneurship. 50 years ago, any business that was opened was part of an entrepreneurial goal, because it was opened by a smaller team, a lot of family business, and a lot of successful players along the way. But now I feel like the past decades, maybe a little bit more, there's a larger push for innovation. Super exciting to see how these people are, you know, transforming the ecosystem and how the government is pushing for change on that front. I don't think it's much of a debate, but I do want to point out the differences there because it's very important to address the differences between innovation and entrepreneurship. I feel like it's not enough attention is brought there because, again, you know, starting your own business is a hurdle. Bringing a new product with no comparables, bigger hurdle. You know,
Yeah, I can react to it. I mean, we don't have to have a debate, but I can react
yeah, of
and
course.
say that definitely there's an entrepreneurial layer to starting a business and for example, be profitable or make something new. But if and we said it before, you know, if you want to solve a problem and you're solving it through some sort of innovation or doing something new or even adding a layer of convenience for people, you know, funnily enough, you know, the whole norm is like things should be less convenient because, you know, if you're convenient, then it's, you know, you become lazy and all that stuff. But there are a lot of things happening here and elsewhere that is adding a layer of convenience, which allows people to be a bit more creative, be able not to think about certain things, and they can just, you know, either create new things or just go on and live their lives in a normal way. Like, for example, like even as simple as kafu, right? Being able to, you know, fill your car up from anywhere. I mean, is it really like it's an innovation, right? It's an innovation in a way, inconvenience, right?
Sure.
But is
Yeah.
it it's not the same as what you're saying is creating something new, but it's an innovation in convenience. It was an idea, a thought that people had always thought about but never really actioned.
Yeah.
You know, everyone was just
There's
talking about
so
it.
many ways that can go wrong.
Mm.
It's impressive to see that you know, the safety regulations of that industry are easy to abide to and in a profitable fashion or to be profitable fashion. I don't think, like, for example, in more populated areas, they're not even allowed to have gas stations in downtown areas. So let alone having a truck driving around filling up your car is that's questionable, to say the least. You know, I highly doubt that would fly. But I think it's impressive that they've been able to bring it to market and do so seamlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, seeking discomfort in any different approach is the right way to move towards innovation. You know, it's good to be comfortable. I agree, and there are so many different apps that can help you become more comfortable. But discomfort is what brings you towards innovation.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of it I said it in this room actually. A lot of the greatest creations or innovations in human history, in my personal opinion, came from great suffering
Mhm.
and a lot of like struggle to be able to try to find something so badly that you end up just, you know, doing that, and that's it. You know, that's the end of your life.
Yeah, so I remember that you asked me what my deepest, darkest moment was. I'm gonna turn the table and ask you that back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't reached it yet. I don't think
Knock
I've.
on wood.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing, you know. Maybe I should reach it. You know, I
Yeah.
should reach that moment, and really just say, you know, make this change from that. I don't think I've reached it yet. I'll
Yeah.
be honest.
Even if you haven't, there's ways to prepare for it, you know? Oh,
No, well, Emil, I want to say that we have reached the conclusion, and with that, there's a couple of questions that we close off with,
let's do it.
and one of them is, what made you decide to come on the show?
Honestly, you know, I love more screen time. Yeah.
Give me more.
No, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I wanted to shed light on what we're doing. I wanted to, you know, I want to increase my footprint here in the region. I want to be able to, you know, be a bigger part of the ecosystem, in the startup ecosystem. And I thought, you've had a couple of guests in that space. I hope that your audience entails a lot of people in that region, in that space too. So I'd love to connect with them, and I'm grateful for you having me on the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Said like a very very amazing presentation. Very very relaxed.
Ah, shucks.
Ah, shucks. What about the name of the show? What do you think about the name?
It took me. I had to think about it twice. I did understand it the first time, but then I asked you. Remember, I asked you. So, well, how did you conclude to that name? And once you explained it to me, it made a lot of sense. Yeah, I like it because it diverts the attention from the ego. And it's you're all on a level playing field here. In this studio, we're all one.
I guess if I had to explain it to you, it's partly a fail if I had to explain it. But yeah, that's it's part of it. It's
For
part
sure, yeah.
There's a lot that has changed over the course of the what is it now, like 2.5, 3 years coming on.
That's exciting.
Yeah, doing all of this different definitions of it.
And where do you have a plan for the? You're on season 4 now.
This is season 4.
This is season 4.
Season 4.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
do you have a cutoff? Are you the Simpsons?
Oh, Simpsons. I wish I was like Simpsons. I would say the cutoff. See, it's interesting. It's probably going to be the first time that I say this on the show, because this is the first time that
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. All right. Because I've been thinking about it for a while, and I've been looking at other podcasts and looking at other shows and all these things, and I keep seeing how a lot of these podcasts have the person's name in them. So, for example, Joe Rogan Experience, apostrophe S's show, whatever it is. And then I noticed something that, at least in my very humble opinion, like our show, Nobody's Famous, even if I'm not hosting anymore, the concept and the idea and the brand can still go on.
And the dream continues.
And the dream continues. We keep going up that hill. And it's kind of the point, I think. It's kind of the point that somebody in some certain point can take this and sit in my place and continue the journey, because
That's selfless of you.
I think it's part of it. It's
Yeah.
it'll be more relatable if it was my name, Ali Show. Yeah. Ask Ali anything. Hey, that's a book, copyright. You know what I mean? Like this kind of stuff. But I feel like if it's something that can live on more of like a concept and it can stick in people's minds, would be, it could keep going, and things could the message could expand and spread in a better way, and it'll be a different perspective. Maybe another host might give a different perspective, all that stuff, and somebody can host it even when I'm hosting it. So.
Bringing light to all these different people on your show is already something to be proud of. So, hats off to you and your fantastic team, and I wish you guys all the best moving forward.
Awesome. It's shout out to Miral and Bruno on the keys. Well, with that, Emile, you kind of answered this already. I asked the question for you was, do you have a question for me? And you asked it already. So
Yeah.
you took it away from me. I'll ask you this last question.
Sure.
You've achieved so much in such a short time, Emile.
There's a lot more to go, man.
I know.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I know. And with that, what's the next risk you're going to take?
Oof. Good question. I'm considering doing an MBA. Yeah, I want to do it.
Is that a
It's
risk?
a risk, but it's definitely like a new chapter, it's the next risk I'm probably going to take is my flight back to Canada. Contract COVID.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I haven't thought about it. This new product is definitely a risk. If this goes wrong, it's not going to be easy to go back to people and be like, give me more money, please. We need to launch another product.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've normalized myself to that type of risk. It didn't even come up as like my first type of risk. It's probably the riskiest thing we're going to be doing this year. Yeah, I wouldn't have a very straightforward answer to that. I think the time off with the MBA is a little bit risky for work, but I'm sure I can handle it. I've done worse.
Yeah, I mean, time-wise, you're sacrificing time also.
Yeah, but this time I think it's going to be an EMBA, so like it's a part-time MBA. That way I don't feel too guilty.
Efficient.
Yeah,
Efficient.
efficiency.
Okay, can we close it? Can we close it off with some Lebanese accents if you don't want to do other accents?
Lash.
That one was so good. Efficiency. At least we got it on camera. At least we got it on camera.
أهلا وسهلا. تاكل اليوم.
Awesome. It's awesome. Well, and with that, Emile, I want to say that we have reached the end of the show. It's always a sad moment, to reach the end, but necessary, to continue the journey.
شفناكم.
Awesome. I need to put subtitles for all of those. You do realize that, right?
Yeah. كمل بالعربي. Make it harder. Thanks for having me, Ali. It's been a pleasure.
Miral just face palming in the back. I can just imagine. I'm with you. Well, and with that, Emile, I'm going to sign us off.
Yes.
You have any last words?
I'm excited to see who else is on season 4. Yeah.
Oof. You're going to have to wait.
Oh, it's going to be a long one.
It is. It is. Well, and with that, guys, we're going to sign us off on the Nobody's Famous podcast. This has been the show with the one and the only Emile Maamary. It's been a pleasure having you, buddy.
Thank you.
You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, and Rami in the beautiful Subsonic Studios hosted by Bruno Vitanza. He was on the show too, by the way, guys. And, just keep on liking, keep on subscribing, giving us the comments. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one, guys.
Am I on the TV?
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Woo, it's great.